Welcome to Somerset Showcase. Today we are going to be talking about a very nice partnership between the Friends of the Somerset Council on Aging and the Raiders Reaching Out Service Club at Somerset Berkeley Regional High School. So we are here with Ann Nassiff, who is the co-advisor of Raiders Reaching Out with Mike Fallon, and she's also an adjustment counselor at the high school, and Carolyn Lazarus, who is the president of the Friends of the Somerset Council on Aging, as well as students Ava Ricard, Patrick O'Donovan, and Julianna Nassiff. So can you tell me about this project that you're starting that is around the holiday season?
So it really started last year. We were a pretty new group, the Friends of the Council on Aging, doing a holiday food drive. And we had a number of baskets all made up, but we only had identified a few seniors. So somebody at the C.O.A. said, well, Ann Nassiff does baskets. And so we reached out to her, and she said, well, we have a lot of, because our goal is to reach the seniors. And she said, we have a lot of grandparents who are raising grandchildren. So that's a great connection for us to try and meet those needs. And as you know, there's a lot more people who are raising their grandchildren than we often know. So we got a little bit earlier start this year and reached out, and we're essentially doing the same thing. We've got a number of food drives going on. Our plan is to raise, to get food donations through Christmas, but kind of with a cutoff a little bit before Thanksgiving, and then continue into Christmas with both the food drives and hopefully gift cards that can be used for gifts to help grandparents, as well as seniors that the C.O.A. identifies for both Thanksgiving and Christmas that can use that help.
So, I think there's lots of different reasons. I think that sometimes there are situations where a family, the parent may lose their job, and so to keep up with their own home, sometimes you see multi-generations moving in with a grandparent's home. So sometimes you might have actually like 3 generations of families living in one home. Other times, there's some tougher cases where students might lose a parent or lose both parents, or maybe just be disconnected from a parent, and so the responsibility oftentimes goes to family members, and oftentimes because the grandparents are usually retired at that point, they have the availability to take their grandchildren in. And so it really is a mix of different reasons, but we definitely probably have more than most people would think. It seems to be more of a common trend, I think, too, with society having such higher prices for so much to just live, groceries and all of that, that I think sometimes economically it becomes a reason why as well.
And the thing, I think, what triggers our concern is, I know the difference. There's that difference between being responsible for them and being a grandparent. So you often see a lot of the grandparents struggling financially, trying to make ends meet.
And grandparents, usually, they want to spoil their grandchildren. They want the parents to do the tough stuff.
That's right. That's right.
It's supposed to be a fun thing.
It is. It is.
And we hope by this connection too, that will bring joy to grandparents. I think in the past they've been so appreciative of being thought of, because I think oftentimes they're not always publicizing that they are, the primary caretakers. So it kind of gets lost in the mix, and then when we recognize them, they're just so thankful and appreciative.
So why don't we talk about what Raiders Reaching Out to, and can we have the students tell us about that?
You start in a couple minutes.
Well, to me, I think Raiders Reaching Out is a great way. Like, I love to get involved in the community and give back, and I think with Mr. Fallon's the food pantry and the clothing drives is a really great way to give back. And I always love to make holiday baskets. I always come here and lunch, and there's always a great group of kids that come and we make baskets, and it's a great way around the holidays to know that it's going to put a smile on families' faces.
And then for me, it's just like all about giving back to the community. Because in Somerset, we have this very beautiful community that is all like very uplifting in many ways. And being able to give back, even such like a small way of just volunteering at a food pantry, just makes me feel a lot better about myself. And I believe that's just how several people feel about this.
And to tie into the beautiful thing, I really think being able to be a part of Raiders Reaching Out is not just something for myself, it's really to connect with my community in so many different ways, like the food baskets, like the clothing drives, and just really understanding how other people go through, and really being able to give people their not handouts necessarily, but really connect with people and help them in so many different ways.
How do you guys feel about helping out the senior citizens in town?
I think over the summer when we went to Magoni's for their the senior prom, that was
We're
great.
doing it again this year.
Yeah, that was a great way, I think, to connect, because I got to talk to a lot of seniors and just, hear their life stories about their careers, their children, their grandchildren, where they are now in life, and it was a really great way to connect with them.
Mm-hmm. For me, at this point, I've more volunteered at the food pantry, but like I cannot wait to actually help a little more of the senior community, because especially for them, like they've been through so much at this point in their life, because they've lived so much for their money, and just being able to help them out and like even small ways, like I think it'll just really make me feel better about myself, and I believe that's how a lot of other people feel about this, where they can have the opportunity to actually help people.
To really help with the elderly community. So from my own personal story, my grandmother used to live with me for a while when she was getting sicker until she passed away. So getting to really see how a lot of elderly people in their older age start to feel lonely, and like as more of their friends go away and such, and then being able to help them in my own school community, it really makes me feel like appreciated, like be able to feel appreciative that I can help everyone else out as they're going through this new life process.
So Carolyn, can you tell me what's the purpose of the Friends of the Somerset C.O.A? Tell me what you do.
So we're a 501(c)(3). We formed last December, so we've got almost a full year. And our goal is to raise funds through various fundraisers to help the C.O.A. and the seniors in Somerset in ways that often the C.O.A. is enabled to do. So we are making, in the process of making donations to the C.O.A. to help them provide, as an example, help them provide the funds for transportation to medical appointments out of town, such as Boston and Providence, and and then also to help with securing wandering devices or things to assist with homes that have someone with a cognitive impairment. So it might be a camera, it might be a door alarm, might be some kind of wandering device to help with that. So the COA is in the process of developing their process and criteria, but we're able to give them some funds to do that because of fundraising that we've done. We're also we got a grant from the Hathaway Charitable Trust Fund to do some lunch and learns. So we've done 2 already this year, and we'll start again in January. And we got great crowds, like almost 30 people both times. One on legal issues with the elder law attorney, Jane Sullivan from Fall River, and then options counseling with Bristol Elders and what their services are. So it is, and we provided lunch and some materials, so it is to have the funds to be able to do those kinds of things. So how do we, what we're doing here is not a fundraiser. We'll be using funds that we raised to kind of supplement what we don't get through the food drive and the gift cards. But speaking of that, we do have a fundraiser coming up on December 7th at a Rougeau's in Dighton, making wreaths. So people can register with a Rougeau's directly, so 6 o'clock on December 7th. $45, and the Friends gets a portion of that for every person that registers, so.
I know the Somerset Lions Club has done that, and
They are doing it
people
earlier
have-
that week.
People have fun with that.
Yes.
It's a good
Yep,
fundraiser.
it is.
And you
It
get to
is.
take it home and use
And you
it
get
right
to
away.
take it home
Put
and
it
use
right on
it,
your
yeah,
door.
and
That's
make your
great.
own, to fit your color scheme and all of that,
That's
so.
good.
Now, for this drive you're doing, you had a list of specific items that you'd like people to
Well, they were
donate, or suggestions.
Suggested. The things that would make up a typical Thanksgiving kind of dinner. Stuffing, canned vegetables, cranberry sauce, of course, cornbread mix, muffin mix, gravy, boxed potatoes. We might try and get some fresh potatoes, but we'll see. But we're still working on that. The other thing, and I think this is kind of something that shows how we all have our own holiday traditions, Velveeta mac and cheese.
No?
Because mac and cheese for some people is part of the holidays, so we'll try and do that. And then general gift cards that can help for the grocery stores, so that can help with the perishable pieces, because we're not doing turkeys.
Okay.
We're sticking to the non-perishable items. So, and we are gonna have so in terms of food donations, can I jump there?
That's where I was going.
Yeah, okay. So you can anytime, not Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 at the C.O.A. You can call the C.O.A. We'll come pick it up. C.O.A. is at 115 Wood Street. It's in the Pottersville School, right? But also this Sunday from 9:30 to 1:30, we're going to be at our Claire's collecting food. So we're really hopeful, and we thank our Claire's for letting us do this. We're hoping people will, buy one or two things when they go in. And as I mentioned last week, I really do think that it's all about, you take a grain of sand and it doesn't mean very much. But you put a lot of grains of sand in and you get a beach. And you both talked about what a beautiful place we live in, and a beach is a huge part of living in Somerset. So I just feel like if everybody would buy one thing,
That would do it.
it would do it. We could meet everybody's needs. So we're working at it.
Now, do you have a deadline by when you want to get this done so that you can get this to these people? When would be?
I think we're thinking to have it to you by the Tuesday?
Yes,
Or, yeah,
I think
the
that-
21st.
Yes.
So we would want to have it by like the previous Friday, so we can work at putting things together.
Yes,
Yeah.
right, because we have a half day on that Wednesday, so
Yeah.
we'd probably be looking to make deliveries on Monday and Tuesday
Okay.
of that week, so maybe even
Yeah,
before
maybe
that. If you
before
need
that,
help
yeah.
assembling
Yeah.
them too, we can have the students, that's
Okay.
what they're
Yeah.
really good at. And we kind of do this along the same lines of each department. Our food drive is really funded by our teachers and our faculty here. So
Okay.
each department gets a theme with a suggested list of items. So say, for example, the English department might get breakfast theme, and if every teacher brings in one item, it makes a huge breakfast box. And at the end of the day, it all comes down here, and the students filter through everything, and it's really like a wonderful box of groceries, from a taco themed dinner to household essentials, and one little roll of paper towels might not look like much, but when you put it together with everything that you would normally get when you're grocery shopping, it creates these beautiful baskets. So it's really a community effort on all ends, it seems like, and it's a great partnership that we've started here.
Because as Julianne mentioned about the spring dance, and that was a wonderful event, which we are going to repeat in April. There'll be more on that later, but we're hoping the
Yes.
students are going to help again with that.
I think the students got more out of it than they ever anticipated they would when they went there.
Yes,
I mean, when
yes.
I arrived, there was just deep conversation going on with so many different things, and I know Ava and Julianna had talked about, a couple couples that they had met, and they'd been married for, what was it, like
like over 60 years or something
Yes.
crazy.
It was amazing.
Something crazy.
Just, and you might not think that, strangers would have something to offer each other, but it really was a two-way street that put smiles on people's faces, and,
Yes.
it's something that you wouldn't think, teenagers often get a bad rap for being, very egotistical and they wouldn't want to help out, but you know what, I've always found that if you give them the opportunity, they always
Yeah.
take it up, so.
And I'm sure for a lot of them, so I look at the kids and I think of my grandkids. And I'm sure that they look at the older people as seniors as my grandparents. And so it makes that nice connection that you don't really get when it's parents and kids. There's something very special and unique about your relationship with your grandchildren.
There's a lot you can learn from each other.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
I think there was a program down at the library at one point where the students were helping the seniors to learn how to use computers.
Yeah, and that.
And then there's a lot of history
Learning the
that-
computers is a huge need for the seniors.
And then there's a lot of history that the students can learn from the seniors.
Yes, yes.
Exactly. Pre-computer age.
Yeah.
Which some of us think we're better.
But I think too, a lot of personal experiences lead kids to do certain things too. And I think for me, I had the personal experience of my parents taking on some of my nephews to raise from the time they were really little. And so, I was older when that happened, but I do remember, looking back, and here's now aged parents of mine now caring for babies all over again, and kind of like you had mentioned, having to redo parenting. And any assistance that would come from people, it was so special, because oftentimes grandparents wouldn't even know where to go or to ask, and they're not asking. So I think when you're able to just give just as a gift, like that's what a gift should be, right? When we give a gift, you're giving without having an attachment of anything in return, and it's so special because, sometimes they just don't have the time to go out and get it. They might not have the transportation. So the fact that it's delivered to their homes is also, I think, a great part of it.
Yeah, and they may have health and mobility issues that make it difficult to go out and do those things.
And I think especially when you're giving to people you don't even know, that's very rewarding. And a lot of these people are too proud to ask for things. And
Exactly.
They don't want to.
Right. And that's why we look at it as a gift, because I think that many of these grandparents are very proud and don't really necessarily want like a handout, right? They feel like, oh, somebody else can do it, and it's really sometimes having that conversation of this is just a gift of thoughtfulness for you. It's not because you're necessarily needy. It's that you're sacrificing a lot on your end to do this, and here's just a gesture that we appreciate that.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to add about this project, or anything that people need to know?
No, just don't forget Sunday before the Pats game, 9:30 to 1:30. And if you have something you want picked up, if you call the C.O.A, we will go pick it up. We'll meet you somewhere. We'll do whatever to get even the one can. So
The people who are going to be delivering the food to the
Yeah.
Okay.
I usually have a team of teachers here that help
Okay.
assist me. I just put an email out, and they just come down and say, Ann, where do you need me to go? And I give addresses out, and I have all the baskets set up, and I have addresses on them, and the teachers just take them out. We usually give a phone call ahead of time just to say that we're going to be dropping off something, but it's the high school faculty and staff that do all the deliveries.
And we are also targeting seniors that the director of the senior center identifies too. They may not be grandparents, but we want to make sure to meet their needs too. So any of baskets or deliveries for them, those will be made by the Friends group, people from the Friends.
Okay. Thanks for answering my questions, and thank you for tuning in to Somerset Showcase. And don't forget, what Carolyn said is if we all give one or two items, you could help to make a happy holiday season for some grandparents who are raising their grandchildren. And as she said also, there's probably a lot more out there doing that than you would guess.